Calls from the Capitol to shut down the Texas lottery, but one key leader is offering a new option that could keep it going.
We're going to do more to really lock down all the rules and the guardrails and make it right.
We hear from the Lieutenant Governor about the major changes he says need to happen, with the future of the lottery still in question. The nation's health secretary sends a message amid a measles outbreak in Texas, saying it's important to look beyond vaccines.
There's certain people, and particularly in this state, who don't want to vaccinate. We have to take care of those people too.
We look at the push for alternative treatments and the push back from some health experts. A crackdown on the border. Sheriffs say efforts to curb illegal immigration are working, but some are raising new concerns.
Produced from the Capitol in Austin and airing statewide, this is the award-winning State of Texas.
Hello and thank you for joining us. I'm Josh Hinkle. The Texas Lottery Commission approved rules to ban courier services that let people buy lottery tickets online or through an app. The Texas Senate earlier passed a bill to ban lottery couriers, so now the Lottery Commission is now aligned with what lawmakers want. But as Dylan McKim reports, the future of the lottery itself is still in question.
There were no debates or arguments.
Motion passes.
A simple unanimous vote to codify rules that ban lottery courier services. A change in tone after months of controversy.
You know, I haven't got mad this whole session.
Which to me was a criminal act in itself.
A sign of money laundering, yes or no?
I can't answer that question.
Wow.
Work continues for the Lottery Commission inside this building, and you can still go into a store and purchase a lottery ticket, at least for right now. That's because just down the street, in that building right there, state lawmakers are deciding the future of the commission and lottery games as a whole. And there are warning signs. For one, the House's version of the state budget zeroed out the money appropriated for the Lottery Commission.
We've come back to where it all started.
And second, one of the state's top Republicans, Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, compared the lottery to a dead man walking.
I would say it's on life support.
He's unhappy with the commission, but understands some Texans do like testing their luck. There's a chance the lottery could be saved, but according to Patrick, it will not be run by the Lottery Commission.
The Lottery Commission needs to go away, and we need to have a different government agency with serious people who are going to ensure that this never, ever, ever happens again.
There's a little more than a month left in the legislative session to determine if the lottery has the winning numbers. Dylan McKim, State of Texas.
Many of the questions senators have about the lottery stems from a jackpot in April of 2023. An entity known as Rook Texas collected the winnings after buying more than 25 million tickets. That's almost all of the possible number combinations. At a hearing in February, senators asked about the Lottery Commission's role in helping Rook purchase and process the large number of tickets in less than 72 hours. The commission provided extra terminals to businesses working with the group. Some senators said it opened the door for criminal activity, calling the mass ticket purchases a money laundering scheme. The Texas Rangers are currently investigating. Meanwhile, Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick has called for the end of the lottery. Patrick spoke one-on-one with Capitol reporter Adam Schwager about what could come next.
Where do you see the future of the Texas lottery right now?
So I would say it's on life support. I don't know that we'll have the Texas Ranger investigation report back before the end of session. That's only 5 or 6 weeks away. But we're going to have to make a decision on behalf of the people. Now, look, folks like to play the lottery. They like their scratch-off ticket games. They know they don't have a big chance of winning, but they like to play and they like to hope. And they play, $5, $10 a week, and they hope to hit a bigger prize. We don't want to take the enjoyment away from people that want to do that, but we have to be sure that the people aren't playing a rigged game. And so far, based on what we've seen, there have been some games for big jackpots that were rigged. So I don't want people losing their hard-earned money on a game they can't win or have a little chance to win because someone's figured out a way to beat them out of it. I also don't know if there isn't a criminal element laundering money through the Lottery Commission. That may well be a part of this also. Let me say this to you, Adam. Give you a little news here. If they stay, if we have a lottery game, we need to close down the Lottery Commission and turn it over to our Department of Texas Licensing, TDLR. We need to close down the commission, get it over there, pass a bill, which we have already, but we're going to do more to really lock down all the rules and the guardrails and make it right. But under the current condition, the Lottery Commission needs to go away, and we need to have a different government agency with serious people who are going to ensure that this never, ever, ever happens again.
Speaking of former Director Grief, we've heard things about not being able to find him. What has that process been like?
I can just tell you that the Texas Rangers usually find their man, but he could be living anywhere on the planet. Who knows where he is? But isn't it interesting? The guy puts the courier service together. Someone, makes off with 95 million after buying 26 million tickets that he allowed, and now we can't find him. Can you imagine that, Adam? Look, if you were on the Lottery Commission, if you work for the lottery, if any of your viewers watching right now, if someone came in and said, we have someone who wants to buy 26 million $1 tickets 72 hours before the $95 million jackpot, wouldn't that make you at least suspicious? And wouldn't it really make you say, no, we're not doing that? They let it happen. The people were fleeced. The money was stolen, bigger than all the train robberies in the history of the Wild West, $95 million. Jesse James couldn't have done any better. Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid couldn't have had a bigger win. And they pretended like it didn't happen and it was okay.
So this story has gained a lot of national attention now. In the last couple of weeks, it's been in the Times, it's been in the Wall Street Journal. How do you think this is painting Texas on a national stage?
I think it paints a picture that, at least speaking for me, the Senate, we haven't seen, and now the House, it's taken the money out, that we're not going to tolerate bad actors within the Lottery Commission. If there were, again, the investigation, I'm not accusing anyone of doing anything criminal at this point, but I do find it interesting that the guy who set it all up, we can't find after $95 million jackpot was hit, that he allowed to be played that way. So I think it says that somebody pulled off a great heist. I mean, the heist is so big, Adam, it's something you'd make a movie about, really, of how this was put together. And I read the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal stories, good reporting, but they did leave out the element of the cooperation between the Lottery Commission and those who won the money. And they also, I think, left out the element of potential criminal activity. Again, we'll find out if there was any, but this was not just a mistake. This wasn't a bunch of lucky guys who played a number. They had to have known, Adam, put these pieces together. They had to have known in advance when they called 72 hours before the drawing to buy 26 million tickets, $1 tickets, that no one had ever done before, that someone was going to say, okay. Someone was going to say, okay. And someone was going to have a plan to get all those machines out. That's not an accident. That's a conspiracy.
The Lottery Commission will also need to find a new executive director after Ryan Mendel resigned from his position. Commissioners met in a closed-door meeting Tuesday to discuss personnel matters, but did not say how they will select a new leader.
These are not fringe medications. These are medications that sick people should get.
U.S. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy sending a message about measles in Texas, how he's pushing health leaders to look beyond vaccines in the fight against the disease. Law enforcement encounters at the southern border have plummeted since the start of the year, but we found even with the heightened enforcement, some border sheriffs still have concerns. The Centers for Disease Control has sent teams to Texas to help battle an outbreak of measles. The effort comes as U.S. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy says the spread of the disease has plateaued. Much of the CDC's work has been focused on Gaines County, where more than 360 cases have been reported. Many of the people infected have not been vaccinated. Kennedy spoke Tuesday during a visit to College Station. He said he believes when it comes to battling measles, it's important to look beyond vaccines.
We're working very closely with the governor of Texas, with the public health officials in Texas. We've provided them enormous support from CDC, all the support that they've requested for vaccines and for alternative medicines. or budesonide. These are not fringe medications. These are medications that sick people should get, are proven medications, clarithromycin, aerosolized steroids, so that we're not just talking, there's certain people, and particularly in this state, who don't want to vaccinate. We have to take care of those people too. CDC has been focused for many, many years, for a generation now, just on one solution, which is vaccines. We need to be able to treat people who get sick. And that's one of the things that we're going to focus on as well.
Health experts emphasize that being vaccinated is the most effective way to prevent getting measles.
Those who are unvaccinated face severe symptoms that could lead to hospitalization and even death. The best way to protect yourself from measles is to receive 2 doses of MMR vaccine. 2 doses of MMR provide you with 97% protection from the virus. Being fully vaccinated also reduces your chances of spreading the virus if you become ill. If you are unsure of your vaccine status, speak to with your doctor about getting vaccinated. Being vaccinated doesn't just protect yourself, it protects your friends, community, and family, especially those who are immunocompromised.
On Friday, the Texas Department of State Health Services reported 683 measles cases confirmed since January. Right now, roughly 1% of those are actively infectious cases. So far, the effort to fight the outbreak has cost Texas $4.5 million.
They're out there doing their job again, and they are actually the heroes right now for securing that border.
Sheriffs praise heightened enforcement along the border, and they're hearing a new message from Governor Abbott, why he says one of his legislative priorities could help law enforcement. Texas lawmakers take a new step to stop women from getting abortion medication, but the push to crack down on pills could lead to complex challenges in court. Sheriffs of border communities from San Diego to Brownsville came to Austin last week to discuss what's next for border security. The meeting comes as law enforcement encounters at the southern border have plummeted in the first months of the second Trump administration. Capitol reporter Adam Schwager covered the meeting and found even with the heightened enforcement, some sheriffs still have concerns.
Over the last 39 months of the Biden administration, law enforcement officers reported an average of 187,000 encounters at the southwest border per month. Now, flash forward to the first 2 months of the second Trump administration, that number has been slashed by 94%, only averaging a little over 11,000 per month. Zavala County Sheriff says it's changing his operations.
Night and day, night and day.
Eusebio Salinas Jr. has been the sheriff of Zavala County since 1997 and says the new administration has taken some of the burden off his department.
You actually see Border Patrol working the fields, out looking for people. Back then, you couldn't get a Border Patrol agent to help you because they were always in the processing center.
It's a shift Clint McDonald, the executive director of the Southwest Border Sheriff's Coalition, says is positive.
The morale has gone through the roof, and they're out there doing their job again, and they are actually the heroes right now for securing that border.
But solutions could create new problem for Salinas Jr.'s department if operations at the border are scaled back due to a lack of demand.
I have 48 inmates at a processing center for the Valverde Center, and we've been told that it might close. This would cost my tax dollars to pay for these beds.
And right now, the Texas legislature is proposing to automatically deny bail to undocumented residents accused of a felony.
If we had the bed space available, it would be beneficial. But since we don't have the bed space, where are we going to put these individuals?
Salinas Jr. says he's talked to Abbott recently and has no plans on closing that detention facility. In Austin, I'm Adam Schwager.
On Tuesday, Governor Greg Abbott spoke at the Southwest Border Sheriffs Association conference. He said that the state of Texas will continue to support their border security efforts financially. Abbott talked about the importance of local agencies that work in conjunction with Operation Lone Star, and he pledged $110 million in this budget, the same given out in the last budget. The governor then pivoted to his priority issue for the remainder of this legislative session, which is bail reform.
To be clear, this is not a right or left issue. This is a common sense public safety issue. Fixing broken bail requires these three things. 1, judges must automatically deny bail for violent crimes like murder, rape, and human trafficking unless there is clear and convincing evidence that the defendant will appear in court and not endanger the community. What this does from a lawyer standpoint, it shifts the default position from one of granting bail to one of denying bail unless that legal standard is met. Second, judges who release violent criminals on easy bail must explain their decision to the public in writing. Third, before I go to third, I think the conclusion from that's obvious. It's going to expose to the public what they are doing in their bail decisions, and it's going to subject them to accountability for those deadly decisions that they're making. Third, prosecutors must have a right to appeal a judge's questionable bond or bail decision. That makes it obviously easier to get quicker judicial relief and to get the dangerous criminal off the streets.
Governor Abbott acknowledged the measure would require a constitutional amendment. Bail reform proposals did pass the Senate with bipartisan support, but could face more opposition in the Texas House. Some Democrats raised concerns that denying bail because of an individual's immigration status violates the Constitution. The first candidate to join the campaign for Texas Attorney General is now the first candidate to drop out of the race. John Bash announced Wednesday that he was ending his campaign. In a post on social media, Bash wrote, "Our family had a health scare that threw into sharp focus how I should prioritize my time right now, and that is not running for office." Bash is known for his work as the former U.S. Attorney for the Western District of Texas. He also represents billionaire Elon Musk in an ongoing defamation case. With Bash out of the race, Texas State Senator Mays Middleton is the only person who has officially announced a run for Attorney General. Current AG Paxton is not running for re-election. He's currently challenging John Cornyn in the race for U.S. Senate. Texas senators approve a bill to clarify when a doctor can perform an abortion to protect a woman's health. But moments after that vote, senators moved to tighten the state's abortion ban.
The women are being harmed, women are being hurt by these pills.
The push to make it harder to receive abortion pills from outside Texas, and why that could lead to complicated legal challenges. Texas is home to some of the strictest abortion laws in the United States, but this week Texas senators approved a bill that outlines when a doctor can legally perform an abortion. It's known as the Life of the Mother Act. It provides more clarity of when a doctor can legally perform an abortion to protect a woman's health or save her life. The legislation received unanimous support in the Senate, but Democrats say more needs to be done.
There's still no exceptions for instances of rape or incest or fetal anomalies. And it, of course, does nothing for people who just want to be in charge and have the choice.
The law states that doctors can perform abortions when they determine the mother's life is at risk or if it can prevent substantial impairment of a major bodily function. But moments after that vote, senators took up legislation that could make it more difficult for people to receive abortion pills from out of state. Capitol Bureau reporter Dylan McKim shows us why that bill will likely be challenged in court.
This week, senators debated at length over a bill that will allow Texans to sue abortion pill manufacturers and those that deliver their product to Texas. Those companies could be sued for up to $100,000.
The women are being harmed, women are being hurt by these pills.
Republican Senator Brian Hughes says abortion pills are already illegal in Texas, but they're still being shipped in. He hopes this bill will have a chilling effect on those shipments.
The very next paragraph says,
However, Texas Democrats argue this bill is unconstitutional, and they are upset with language in the bill that says Texas courts cannot make a judgment on its constitutionality.
is this a flagrant, brazen transgression of the principle of separation of powers on which this country and state was founded?
No, sir. We make the rules, we set the jurisdiction.
The state of Texas has already tried to punish one out-of-state doctor. Last year, Attorney General Ken Paxton sued a New York-based doctor saying they sent abortion-inducing pills to a woman in Collin County here in Texas. Now, a judge in Texas did issue a $100,000 penalty to that doctor. But the question is, can Texas courts force that judgment in New York courts?
When one state's courts reach a final decision, the other state's courts have to respect it. But that's not true in every single circumstance.
Mary Ziegler said New York and other states have shield laws protecting their residents from civil or criminal penalties for providing reproductive care. She says Texas will have to fight this case in federal court.
Whatever happens, it's going to be a mess.
Dylan McKim, State of Texas.
Hughes' legislation has a companion bill in the House already. That bill has been left pending in the committee. Thank you again for joining us for State of Texas. I'm Josh Hinkle. We'll be back next week to bring you an in-depth look at Texas politics.